Hey, welcome back to another episode of NerdCraft. Well, the weather outside is pretty terrible right now, so I decided that today would be a good day to go ahead and try to break through to the Nether Roof. So I went ahead and moved our Nether portal over here because our original Nether portal was actually buried underneath the starter base. So let's head on through and get up to the roof. So our nether is not great. The basalt deltas are kind of rough, but I think that at least this will give us the opportunity to be able to create some farms. And of course, what farms am I going to create? Well, probably another gold farm, of course. Got to be the master of the metals. So we're going to go ahead and dig our way up to the roof and see if we can find a piece of bedrock that we can get ourselves through and then eventually break. So I started working my way up towards the bedrock ceiling of the nether. And along the way, I even found some bonus ancient debris. Once I made it to the top, I had to find a block of bedrock at Y level 127. Once we found that, I was able to use the ender pearl to clip through to the nether roof. Next, it was time to try to break a hole in the bedrock ceiling. And unfortunately, I had several unsuccessful attempts. After a few failed attempts with the first design, I went ahead and decided to use a different bedrock breaking design. This one was a bit safer, and eventually I was able to actually break through the bedrock. All right, so we're here in the end at this wither setup. So I think this is for I know this is for killing the wither. And I've used this already a couple times to get some nether stars. Thanks to our trip to Lankinton's new netherite and wither skull shop. We went ahead and purchased some of those. I also brought some other supplies. So I've already grabbed some eggs from this setup over here. Diamonds, and left those in my inventory. We have some splash potion of poison. Now, originally, I thought that we had to use this splash potion of weakness, but this doesn't work for what we want to do. So what the setup is basically, we fill this full of chickens, and we spawn in the wither. The initial blast that goes off will then kill the weakened chickens, dropping wither roses. When I did this with the weakened potion, it only killed one. So that wasn't a very good use of that. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and check that out right now. So let's get us some chickens in here, and I brought some milk, of course, to because I know I'm gonna hit myself with some of this splash potion of poison, and that will not be good. Oh no, we killed one. And so what we're getting wither roses for are mainly our brand new farm we're going to be building on the roof of the Nether. And this is going to be for a Magma Cube farm. And then of course the Magma Cube farm will be getting our magma blocks from that, which will be used to, create our gold farm, which of course is the staple of my existence. Okay, so I didn't kill that. He was just stupid and spawned in the wall. Excuse me. So we got, what, like 20 chickens in here? Let's do a few more. I would prefer to get this all done in one go. Alright, I think that's all we're going to get. So let's get our soul sand. If I can get the chickens out of the way. Hello? You guys are all... Excuse me. Alright, soul sand down. Let's do... Ah, dang it. I forgot to bring the heads. Oh. Alright. Well, we're going to go back into my base, go grab those skulls, and then be right back. Alright. And we're back. Skulls in hand this time. Let's see. So before we go ahead and get these skulls on there, let's get our splash potion. The screaming is how you know it works. Let's see if I can get those guys in the back. I think everyone's been poisoned. Perfect. Come on, out of the way. All right, and should be ready to go. Powering up and with reses. So what do we get? 20. That's not bad. This always feels really cheap. All right. Well, 20 wither roses isn't bad, but I'm going to need, I think, about 80 of them. So I guess I'm going to be at this a little bit longer.
Finally got my 81 roses and a few extras. And now I can go ahead and get started building on the Nether Roof.
All right, so now that I finally broke through the roof, which took a few attempts, but we finally got it, I went ahead and got busy. So as you can see right away, I already have a farm created. So this is the Magnicube Farm, kind of similar to what I've built before, except this time I built 8 layers instead of 4, mainly just because I wanted it to work faster. And the reason for that is because I wanted to build that monstrosity, which we will get to very soon. But first, with the Magnicube Farm, so the way this basically works is they spawn in on all these different platforms. They're lured into the center by a bunch of iron golems standing here. And then once they fall down the hole because they are very dumb, they then fall into a bunch of wither roses and where they die. And then all their slimy magma cream then flows through all of these hoppers into these chests right here. And it's been working quite a bit. So I've already cleaned out quite a bit of this to make that farm, and it's already filled back up again. And I don't know if that's just from me passively being over here and it's just barely within the distance to activate that. I don't think so. I think it's just from walking back and forth from the portal over there. But whatever the case may be, I have a lot of magma cream now. Probably way more than I'm ever going to need. But yeah, it's worked out pretty good. So yeah, it's pretty simple. Not much to that. Now, this farm over here is, of course, my gold farm. And this is kind of similar to what I've built in seasons past. So this one, it works in the sense that the zombified piglins spawn on these magma cubes, or the magma blocks, and they are the only entity that can spawn on those. So they'll spawn on those blocks, and I believe there's 16 layers, if I counted correctly. Um, I still have room to add more, but even with 16, I think it's too much. But whatever. I wanted to go overkill this time. And then basically they fall down and get killed at the bottom there. So let's kind of fly up and see if we can get a better view of that. So there you see, we've got 4 separate sorting systems. We got some falling right now, actually. I mean, like I said, this thing cranks when I'm nearby it. So it's just a highly efficient farm. If I haven't really monitored the rates too closely, I've been AFKing this quite a bit, but I mean, as you can see, just standing here for a second, it's just raining zombified piglins like crazy. Down here we have 4 separate sorting systems for the rotten flesh to get those out of there. So I broke it up into 4, split between all of the different hoppers, which is kind of uneven, but it's pretty close. So what that does is allows it to not necessarily get clogged by a bunch of zombified or zombie rotten flesh in there. And I had that problem before on other designs. So I had switched over to this kind of filter design at the end of my last season, and it worked out really well. So there's lots of different systems built in for buffering the drops so that it is able to process them without it going and backing up into all of the different hoppers. It's just very loud. So you'll see there's 4 different chests here, and as stuff drops through here, they'll end up in these different chests. So these kind of split out all the hoppers. I believe it's about 4 per double chest, and then one, of course, in the center that gets put to one of the 4. And then once those come through, they go through the filter system here, which then spits out any of the rotten flesh into the lava there. Everything else then goes back down into another set of buffer chests right here. And so there's 3 double chests linked together, which then goes into another storage system, which is where we actually store all of our gold nuggets. And there's 25 double chests there. So on a normal AFK session, which lasts about roughly 8 hours or so, this entire thing will be full. So it's doing pretty well. I did empty it out earlier and did process it. So we can kind of do a little more of that real fast. So let's take what we have real quickly, just convert this into some gold ingots. Let's go ahead and knock out these last few as well. And normally this process takes quite a bit, so I don't want to do too much of this, but let's throw that in there. All right, so now that that's done, this is our brand new bartering farm setup. So this is also a Logical Geek Boy design, and last season I used a simpler version that didn't necessarily use this ice road here, but instead use just a hopper chain, and that thing backed up all the time. Some fun observations with this. I like to call this the reactor because of all the different piglin feet down there, all wearing the different boots. It's just like a big glowing reactor, which is kind of funny. Um, We've got storage, way more storage than I had before. So 7 chests tall, double chests tall for each of these categories. And some, of course, have multiples because they drop at a more frequent rate. And so I had to add more so that we don't lose them. And then, of course, so we've got our blackstone or gravel, our spectral arrows that no one's ever going to use, our quartz, the iron nuggets, which I really don't need with the iron farm, but collecting anyways. We have our soul sand, our nether bricks, our ender pearls, string, fire charges, the 2 different obsidians, so vanilla and crying, and then of course our leather. Over here is where we get our potions. So this is going to be any water bottles and potions, the fire resist potions, and those actually get sorted up there. There's a special sorter that goes into a brewing stand right there. You can kind of see the top of that. And then anything else that's overflow would end up in here. And this is typically where all the books and these iron boots with the soul speed are going to be. So those I end up taking and I kind of smelt them down because I don't need iron boots. No one wants them. And so we go ahead and throw them in here after we disenchant them. And then we get some more iron nuggets that we also don't need. And then, of course, I already still have a backup of Soul Speed 3 books. So we've already been getting quite a few of those. This right here is to empty out the water bottles because I'm going to be using the bottles in my honey farm to convert it over to a honey bottle farm instead. So I already have too much of the... Um, well, actually, I may just build another set of farms. But I do need to build the iron, or not the iron farms, the bee farms need to come into the nether. So I'm actually going to move that under all of this here pretty soon. So we've got a bunch of space here. It's kind of hokey right now with it floating in the air, but I haven't really decided what I want to do for a facade or if I even do it. I mean, it's a farm. Who cares? Anyways, let's go ahead and take a look at this bartering setup over here. So the way this works basically is you have your hopper clock right here that cycles through about it's supposed to be, I think, every 8 seconds for the piglins, because that's how long it takes them to barter. And then inside here, we have exactly 24 piglins, all name tagged silence me so that we don't hear them, because that would be incredibly loud if I didn't do that. So for my sanity, it's peaceful and quiet. Then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and throw in our gold ingots up top here. So those are going to get processed really fast. They go into this hopper minecart, which then splits it up into these 3 different hoppers, which go into 3 different sets of dispensers. And then what happens is once this timer is detected by the observer, it sends a pulse through, which causes a torch burnout clock, which causes us to blink 8 times. And then, of course, that fires each of these 3 droppers 8 times for a total of 24. 24 piglins makes sense. After all that's done, then you'll see the slime blocks push out the items and then kick them across all the way to the end. And then, of course, anything that is overflowed at this point, which we don't really have everything. I mean, this is not full for sure. But if we had a scenario where it was too full, like, say, gravel or something like that, it would end up in our overflow down here. And if that's full, it would end up in the fire. So I think that should have been processed by now. We only had 1 stack. So what we're going to go ahead and do is turn that on. And you'll see it dispenses out all of the wonderfulness. And then they're going to throw it up in the air. very excited like. And after a short delay, it kicks it out. So I did actually increase the timing on this so that it goes slower because I was noticing that it was kicking gold out. And I don't know if that was just a thing that has to do with the server or if it was just that the timings were kind of weird, but I wanted to prevent that. So we actually were getting gold in the overflow chest and gold on the ground down here. I'm not really sure how that even works, but somehow it was happening. So I ended up putting some more layers of glass around the outside to try to prevent that. I think we've gone through all of the gold at this point. I'm going to let that run one more, and then I think we're there. Yeah, I don't see more gold. Okay, so flip that off. And then, yeah, so we've basically gotten quite a bit so far. I mean, I've got a ton of blackstone. I guess I open a shop again, another Nether-themed shop, or just basically use this for building. I did want to build this in the first place for the building materials, though, especially the blackstone. I used that a lot last season. And quartz, that's going to definitely come in handy. Nether bricks as well, probably a little bit. But mainly just the blackstone was kind of the main need for that. And then, of course, with the other farm, I did want more magma blocks as well because I like the way those look. And with the shaders and everything, they look pretty cool. They're kind of a cool, like, light source as well. So that's what I've been doing. There are some other farm that I had built earlier, which we had some shots of getting these piglins in here. So the way I got them in there is kind of all the way over here. We have a crimson forest biome. So I did build up a farm temporarily where I had basically a spawning platform for them and then some soul torches that would scare them into a pit. And then I'd fly away, have them spawn in, fly back down, tag them, and then put them in mine carts. Well, that works well for when you're working with a small number of them. When you get 24 of them, some sort of chaos ends up ensuing. I didn't record a lot of that, and so we missed out on some craziness because that many minecarts together bumping into each other, they start going faster and faster and faster. And I actually ended up having a really weird instance where I had, I think, about 7 or 8 minecarts with piglins inside that were kind of trapped onto each other. And so what I was trying to do is slow them down so I can spread them apart and start breaking each of the minecarts separately to kind of get them one by one to chase me up into the holding area that they're in now. What happened was is it shot off in that direction like really fast. And I was trying to block it with like netherrack on the ground, stuff like that. And it would just go right around it. It would just bounce off of it and just keep going. Finally, did end up getting it trapped, but that was quite the ordeal, which would have been great on video. But it was kind of in the moment, and I didn't record it because I didn't want to record my building these farms because it's not something that works well for a time lapse. It doesn't look right. It's not really pretty. It's pretty much the same monotonous stuff over and over again, and especially when you're trying to get like piglins up into a holding area. It doesn't make for a very good video. I did wish I captured that though, because that was really hilarious. But I'm sure we'll have moments like that later. So that's what I've been working on in the Nether. I think I'm done with the Nether for now, aside from like I said, maybe moving the bees over here, which we can do. I'm not sure I'm really jumping to do that right now. It would be nice to connect all the other bases up on the roof here. I did find out that Lank actually has a gold farm over here somewhere, so I think he is north of me. Let's go check that out real fast here. So he's actually on the roof as well. I don't think he broke a hole through it, but he did get a portal up here. So we just need to get everybody else to kind of get in on the game and link their stuff up here. I'm not really sure. He might be way out here. I did see it though. I have been to his. He has an aggro farm for XP. I just don't like building the aggro farms because then I don't know. You have to sort out all the swords and everything. Okay, I give up. We'll find it later. So yeah, I definitely need to build up some more shops. We can start selling some of this nether stuff as well. It's kind of like a repeat of last season. Same shop, same everything. So I wasn't doing books last season though. And then the other thing is we got to move this nether portal. It's still raining, I swear. Um, so we got to move this off this tree to a more convenient location. But we'll get to that eventually. So pretty though, even with all the rain. So I think the next big project that I need to work on is one I kind of alluded to before, and that is, of course, the storage system. I'm in dire need of a storage system. I did end up moving everything and filling in our original starter base or starter hole. So everything is moved in. However, as I said, I didn't want to just throw it in chests. It's just thrown in shulker boxes right now, which isn't much better, but at least I can kind of move these around. But I need to have a permanent place for all this stuff because finding things is near impossible in an efficient manner. So I think that's the next project we'll work on is the storage system, and I need to clear out the space and figure out where that's going to go down below there. So let's figure that one out.
So, future Loki here. That last clip was over a week ago. And actually, I did complete that storage system. However, we don't have time to see that right now. So, that's going to be it for this episode. I promise you, very soon, we will take a look at that storage system. In fact, you're definitely not going to have to wait 2 weeks for that. It'll probably be out very, very, very soon. Once again, thank you for watching. Appreciate your patience. And I'm feeling better already now that it's been 2 weeks. COVID sucks. Anyways, safe travels, everyone.